teachers. My name is Laraine Weschler, and I'm the communication specialist for Naugatuck Public Schools. It's my job to tell the community about all the awesome things going on in our district. I'm in charge of our school website, our social media pages, and making sure that our internal communications run smoothly. It's especially important now as we're trying to communicate lots of new information with our families and the COVID-19 pandemic. I've shared with you guys in our Google Classroom a bunch of files and information. One of the things I'm sharing is this little handy flowchart about when you should tell me about things happening in your classroom. I love to hear about cool things that you're doing in your classroom, like different activities, STEM night, awards that your kids are doing, anything that you think is interesting, please forward it to me. I love pictures. And I love being able to share that information with everyone in our community via our social media channels. If you know of anything cool going on, please email me at laraine.weschler@naugatuck.k12.ct.us and make sure to follow our schools on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Speaking of social media, I would love to feature each of you on our social media pages. Every year, I usually make little profiles of all of our new staff, and our community loves to learn a little bit of information about you and get to know you before we start the new school year. If you could just fill out this Google survey with some information, I would really appreciate it. So this is our school website. This is the district website, and we also have a website for each of our schools. Important features of the website, you'll see we have our school year calendar here, and then other important buttons, our staff directory, link to Power School, some information about racial equity, and especially relevant right now, our return to school plans. If you scroll down, you'll see all of our latest news is posted here in this left-hand column. We have our social media feeds in the middle, and we have upcoming events on the right-hand side. From that return to school button on the home page, you'll come to this COVID-19 updates and resources page. This is where we're posting all of our news alerts and useful information regarding our back-to-school plans and COVID-19. Under our staff directory, we have profiles for each of our teachers. And I'm going to ask you guys to create a little profile for yourself, so you'll have your own webpage on our website. This is mine, so you can see I just have a little welcome information, a few pictures of myself, and some basic information about me, just so that people can get an idea of who I am and put a friendly face to our district. I have instructions on how to set up your teacher page in Edlio. That's our website provider that I've linked in the Google Classroom. And hopefully if you just follow these instructions, it will tell you exactly how to set up your profile. It's not too complicated. And I also have a video going through the entire process. While you're doing that, I would appreciate it if you would read through this accessibility cheat sheet. As we're communicating with our families, especially now that we have so many electronic communications, it's really important to make sure that we are communicating in a way that all of our families are able to access our information. So we need to think about people who might have visual impairments, auditory impairments, or motor impairments that might be navigating the web in a different way. If you read through this document, you'll see guidelines for how to format your information in a way that will be easily read and understood by everyone in our community. The good news is if you just get into the habit of following these simple rules, it's really not that difficult. And it will make the content more accessible for everybody, not just people with disabilities. Once you've read through this cheat sheet, I have a separate document called the ADA Compliance Checklist. And this is just a really quick checklist that you could print out and put next to your desk to make sure that you're following all of these rules to make your documents ADA compliant. These rules might seem like a lot at first, but once you get used to them, you'll find that they take no time at all to add these to your workflow. With the exception maybe of adding captions to videos, that's a pain. And if you're trying to make long PDFs ADA compliant, that can be a pain too. I've also included in your materials a document about copyright law for teachers. It's really easy to forget that all materials, generally speaking, that you can find online are copyrighted, anything that somebody creates. So you can't just take an image or a song or a video that you find online and use it however you want. So when you're posting things, especially if you're posting things outside of your classroom in a public space, we really want to make sure that we're following the copyright laws. So I have some information about how to follow the copyright laws here and where you can go to get images or videos that have a free license to be able to use. Last but not least, I wanted to talk to you guys about Parent Square. Parent Square is our new communications app for our families, and this is going to be the main way that you'll be communicating with your families this year. In Parent Square, there's two ways to communicate. You can either use a post to send a message to your entire classroom or a subgroup that you create. And then the post will appear on this feed and in the app for parents to see the information that you want them to know. Parent Square also has a built-in calendar, so you can put upcoming classroom events. You can also communicate directly with your parents one-on-one through messages. So it's just like sending an email or a text message to them. With the post, you have the ability to add a calendar entry and ask them to RSVP to an event, add forms and permission slip, ask for items, or request volunteers. You can also attach files or photos, but be careful with this because sometimes when you attach a file or a photo, it might not be ADA compliant. And it's also just annoying for people who are using this app on their phone to have to download a separate attachment. So when you can avoid attaching a separate file, it's always better to put the content of what you want to say right in the body of your message. Please look in the Google Classroom for further instructions about how to use Parent Square. I linked to a bunch of resources right from Parent Square themselves on how to get started. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at laraine.weschler@naugatuck.k12.ct.us. I hope you all enjoy your time here, and good luck.